Avery, whose show is this? And we're live. Welcome, everybody, here to the Lakers Lounge Podcast. I'm Anthony Irwin, in an extremely stuffed up version of me today, joined on this fine Tuesday night by Raj Chapalu. Also a little stuffy. It sounded a little
bit.
Mm-hmm. It's that time of year. We're all kind of going through it. The Lakers were not plugged up in this one. They were scoring at will. I think Billy Mack, he couldn't stop talking about this. This was like the 6th or 7th straight game the Wizards have given up 120 or more. He was like, man, I got one good stat here, and I'm going to keep on going to it. So the Lakers beat the Washington Wizards here. They completely ruined Jonas Valanciunas' audition, so we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll talk about the game, we'll talk about the audition, and then if there's time at the end, we'll talk about the Phoenix Suns basically turning one pick that has the chance to be super duper valuable into 3 much less valuable picks as they continue their pursuit of Jimmy Butler. I went full Mexican of Jimmy. They're trying to go get Jimmy. So we'll talk about all that good stuff. A quick reminder, please do hit that subscribe button. Please do hit that like button. And tell your friends about the show, all of that stuff. Let's just go ahead and dive in, Raj. The final here, I should have pulled up earlier, I'm realizing. But the Lakers beat the Washington Wizards 111 to 1 or to 88. Or to 88 or 98?
88.
88. They were clearly the better team all game, played with their food in some stretches here and there. This is only their second 20-point win of the season, which is kind of a staggering stat. That doesn't seem ideal, but still, they beat the crap out of a Wizards team that they needed to. Some frustrating stretches here and there, but for the most part, this is exactly how the game kind of needed to go.
Yeah, the Wizards are a very unserious basketball team, and I have no idea what's going on there. Alex Sarr is a very nice prospect and had a bunch of blocks where it felt like the Lakers were handing him in the ball on some of those plays, pretty much turning and giving to him. And I tweeted out, I would like Rui to integrate a pump fake once in a while. Rui, this has been a few games now where he gets to the basket and he gets fully pummeled. But no, this is a get right game, as I call it, Anthony. You just get right in a lot of places. The only place they didn't get right that I was hoping for was Dalton. He only played 8-9 minutes. He's kind of moving into the early Max Christie realm where he's only being put into garbage time. But other than that, everyone else dominated. LeBron, looked like he dominated the game without breaking a sweat. AD as well had like 16, 17 rebounds. Austin controlled the game off the pick and roll. And it's funny because the Wizards have a lot of players that you would want to poke free, kind of. It's like, hey, let's go save that guy. Let's go save that guy. Let's go save that guy. But you look at them together, and man, like the thing that stood out to me was Jordan Poole and Kyle Kuzma, both from championship situations. Those teams aren't in championship contention right now, but they were on the teams that they were playing for. They are so far away from that. And like the basketball those two are playing right now cannot be close to what they were doing when they were helping teams win at a high level. So I just some caution going to take those two guys out of that situation. But no, a Wizards team that's really bad, worst record in the league. I think like worst offense in the league. We're one of the worst defenses in the league. Just a very unserious team that you're supposed to beat them by 20, and that's exactly what the Lakers did.
Yeah, it was like they literally hadn't seen Alexander Sarr before, so I guess I give them a little bit of like I kind of understand to a certain extent, but it's also like that guy is a solid like 7'2",
right?
And can jump out of the gym. Like if you see somebody of that archetype, maybe just maybe utilize a little bit more cleverness and a little bit more creativity around the rim than the Lakers were putting on display in this one. But yeah, I really liked the Lakers getting back to LeBron, AD, Austin type stuff, right?
Yeah.
A lot of 3-man game, a lot of like those guys were involved in basically everything. And I think teams have kind of been selling out to make it so that they can't rely on that stuff as much. And, like giving Anthony Davis like easier matchups so that he tries to ISO or whatever it is. I thought the Lakers were a lot more disciplined in this one because like against this Wizards team, they are so bad defensively and they're just so bad in general that it's really easy for a team like the Lakers that doesn't that like has a track record of down to opponents. They could totally have been really undisciplined in this one, just relied on overall talent to sneak out like a 7-point win that none of us would feel very good about. But I thought like every time Washington was kind of getting a little frisky here and there, whether it was calling a timeout or those guys just kind of figuring out together on the court, getting back to LeBron, Anthony Davis, and Austin Reaves, putting the ball in the hands of your best three players is exactly what the Lakers need to do consistently on offense. And this was like that solid reminder of like, this is what we look like if we actually play basketball the right way.
Right. And LeBron had a triple-double. And it felt like whenever the Lakers wanted a lob, they got it. Every play out of a timeout we're throwing a lob. And Austin's gotten really good at the crossover when the team is kind of sending him baseline. He's very good at just getting that big man to commit and throwing the lob up to Jackson Hayes, AD. And tonight was a lot of Jackson Hayes. And JJ Redick, as mentioned, he's going to the too big look, and we got that a lot today. A lot of Jackson next to AD, and the Wizards are a team that's tough to analyze if that worked or not. But I do like how it kind of allowed AD to get some runouts. It allowed AD to not always have to be the backline guy. It allowed some other rebounding help as well. But no, Austin, LeBron, and AD looked like they were able to score without breaking a sweat. And again, the Wizards, some of their baseline defense is just, I don't know what they're doing. They're just allowing the team to cut to the rim every time. Rui got any baseline cut he wanted. Again, the Wizards this is what's tough because we're playing Boston next, Anthony, and like going from the Wizards to Boston, the jump of competition and just seriousness.
Going from a junk ball pitcher to like Nolan Ryan on the mound. Yeah. Like, it's funny. I was watching Rui on the baseline, especially because he could have had 15 buckets on the baseline, going backcourt all game. And like, there's no way you'll know this rule, but in baseball, like I remember, like you get to a certain age and you're allowed to lead off of bases, right? When you're playing early on baseball, like you have to stand, like if you get a single, you have to stand on first base until the ball is put in play, until the pitcher throws the ball, and then like you get to run however you're going to run, and then you get to like fifth grade or third maybe it was like fourth grade, and you then like how in baseball they'll look over at the bases and there'll be a player off of first base or second base, whatever. I remember I was in like the way that you hold guys on base is going into the stretch and you can like take a foot off the rubber and throw to the base and bring that player back. Right. Well, I was playing baseball and it was like the first year that guys we were allowed to lead off, and this pitcher was didn't go into the stretch. So that technically meant he couldn't throw over to the base that I was supposed to be standing on. I was standing on third base though. So it was like, so I'm like, so my coach is like, just keep going. And I'm like, he's throwing here. Like, but I'm like, it's like, I just kept like kind of inching down the base. I was like, is this legal? Am I going to get in trouble? And eventually I just stole home plate because the pitcher couldn't do anything about it. And like was like supremely unaware of what was going on, and that's kind of how I felt like Rui was today. He was like, hey, nobody's guarding me here. No, still, like I guess I'll just keep on cutting. And he didn't. Looking at what he finished with, 4 of 10 from the field, so he didn't cut as much as he maybe should have or could have. Yeah, I'm not really going to complain too much about Rui Hachimura too much in this one. But like you talked about earlier, though, man, like it like AD barely broke a sweat, scored 29, 16, 5 assists and 4 blocks for him.
Yeah.
Just like, LeBron, he had his triple double. Austin finished with 16, 8, and only 1 of 8 from 3-point range. Had some really open looks too, so that could have been an even stronger line. I actually thought, Raj, coming into this one, the story was JJ Redick just casually dropping that Dorian Finney-Smith has been on a minutes restriction that we haven't heard about for a while. That was kind of an interesting. Dorian played 22 minutes here, 6 of 8 from the field, 4 of 6 from 3-point range.
He looked awesome.
That's certainly interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know where that came from or what. I guess he had tweaked his ankle before, like in his last couple games for the Brooklyn Nets or whatever. I'm not. This is the thing. This is what I always tell people who accuse me of grifting. The thing with grifters is they will never, ever, ever admit to not knowing something. I have no idea what's going on here. I had never heard of this. I had never heard any word of this. It was just kind of dropped on us before the game. And I guess now we get to look like it's a bit of an explanation for the role that Dorian has been playing to this point, kind of. But like, I don't know. What do you do with all of that stuff?
I wonder if we were supposed to know this. You know what I mean? Like it felt like something just casually, again, that JJ dropped, and it was like, oh wait, what? And everyone's reading the quotes to make sure they came out correct. Again, I'm not a doctor. I've never trained athletes in any way, sort. But to me, the difference between 25 minutes to like 28 can't be. The way that he's played, it doesn't really add up to me towards something that was purposefully, done where they're trying to limit him. I don't know. I just felt like how the rotation has worked out. He's played 20-25, but maybe they're seeing some kind of huge gap between a 30-minute versus 25-minute, allocation of Dorian's minutes. But I guess it's good to know that he can play 30. That was kind of the big question. Why can't Dorian play 30 minutes? Why is he being capped at 22 to 25? And then he went out for a few games for the birth of his child. Now he's come back and again played 22 tonight. Again, it was red hot. It was 4 for 6 from 3. He looked like he could not miss. He was moving his feet well. So we'll see how that ramp up goes. But very strange because it doesn't look like he's hampered by anything. At least when I watch him on the floor, it doesn't look like he's moving. Again, I haven't watched Dorian that long, but I mean, just now, I think this is his 10th game with the team. I haven't seen someone who's been hampered, so that's an interesting news that's come out. But still, the minutes is interesting. We're supposed to get Vando back soon, and Dalton's. Well, I mean, it's at least on the cusp, right? I mean, he's been transferred down to the G League multiple times now to get practice run. And he is a forward, and Dorian is being played as a forward, so there are some minutes
what
there.
What if Jared is only allowed to play against his Boston Celtics? Because the last time we saw him was against the Boston Celtics. He's been waiting this whole time, and maybe comes back against Boston on Thursday.
His whole contract is just stipulated on playing the Celtics.
Don't worry about anybody else. We need you against the Celtics.
Can you at least play him twice? Like, he only played them, I think, once last year. Can we at least get him against both times against Celtics?
Yeah.
But no, Dalton's minutes are already getting kind of pushed out the door, so it's interesting to see how the minutes come. But no, I mean, I hope Dorian can at least play the 22 he played tonight on Thursday. It'd be great to get Vando back. But yeah, that news was interesting. That because I didn't hear that during the trade or after the trade or anything like that. So hopefully he can get back to being a 30-minute player pretty soon.
I don't think this, like, just complete segue here, but did you happen to catch D'Angelo Russell's quote after the game or after his game tonight?
So I read it and I thought I need to listen to this. So I went and listened to it. Did you get to hear the audio version?
I was kind of doing a couple things while I was watching it, but yeah.
It's as confusing in audio form as it is just in.
It was like the thing was, it took a while to get to the quote. Like I don't know if I saw a bad clip of it, and he just kind of like threw it as an aside, and I kind of feel like all the reporters were like, "Wait, what? Did you just say what I thought you said?"
But he continued on, like, so obviously he had the quote, and then he continued on. I wasn't ready to play this style. And so this training staff is so great. They're preparing me. So there were a few other like shots put in there. But yeah, that quote, I'm still confused if he meant, that this style of freedom with the basketball, or this, obviously, like, he could not have meant the losing of having no pressure. There's no way that's what he said.
No.
Like,
I don't think he meant that.
yeah. So like, it has to be something with the, I guess, the basketball ability that they allow him to play. But very weird quote from D'Lo, and he continued to take more shots at his former organization through that.
Look, I kind of get it. Like, if he's taking shots at like the med staff and all that stuff, because there are shots to be taken there. But
2
like
weeks in,
my thing is, well, he's been in that organization before, right? So
who traded him as well?
But the medical staff didn't.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess so.
Could you imagine if medical staffs could be like, how fast would Jared Vanderbilt would have been traded if the medical staff had a say in this?
Yeah, that's autonomy in this.
Get him out of here. Get it. Like, we don't need this on our record. Get him gone.
Right. Christian Wood and Vando, like, we're done. Like, we've done this too long. It's been 7 months. You
it's
guys
crazy
don't
that
show
we
up.
don't even like think about Wood anymore. It's just like, yeah, he's just not playing. But no, D'Lo's quote, just I guess while we're on the subject, I thought it was interesting. I do think the thing with D'Lo is that he is a very intelligent person, and I think he's hyper aware of who he is. And I took this to mean, like, hey, being a championship level player, sacrificing for the team, all of that stuff, that's fine for those who are into that kind of a thing. I would rather be on the ball. And it, like, this was about as D'Lo a quote as you're gonna get. Like, this is a very D'Angelo Russell quote.
It is. But it's not like he wasn't on the ball here. I mean, yeah, there was time. Obviously, Austin the keys.
They had him in and out of the starting lineup. They had Austin taking over the offense and stuff like that. He wants to be. It doesn't matter how few wins his team gets. He wants to be the guy on the ball for 35 minutes a night.
But I mean, he's not that in Brooklyn. He doesn't even start on the Nets. He's still coming off the bench, and so like, he's getting the ball, but he got the ball off the bench here as well. Those comments are strange.
Maybe if it's a LeBron point.
I don't think. I don't know. I think he's upset at the trade. I mean, it's clear he didn't want to be traded. Also, players who come off the bench make significantly less than starters do. So there's a money part of this as well. I think that's the main thing that surrounds this. If D'Lo was getting paid, I don't think he says any of these comments, but that's very strange. What do you think he meant though by I won't take for granted playing this freely, this free level of basketball? What do you think he was alluding to for that?
It could be any number of things. Like, I was texting somebody who sent me that quote, and I was texting, like, I think he's better than Austin is. I think he thinks he's better than Austin is and should have had the role that Austin had in the offense. Or it could be, a shot at the way that you have to play in a LeBron James offense. It could be a shot at the Lakers organization. It could be any number of things. He also, by the way, like, could just be like, you know what? The stakes are way lower here. It's kind of nice. Like, it's kind of nice to play on a team that's like,
no,
whatever.
you can't say that out loud though. Like, you can't say that out loud.
If anybody is going to, Raj, it's going to be D'Lo. Like, that guy
in a contract year.
The Lakers were in the middle of like one of the few like fun stretches of last season that they had, and he chose that moment to go to Dave McMenamin and fry the entire organization.
Yeah,
everybody.
Yeah, I guess so. But I mean, this statement in a contract year, like, I just can't imagine. You mentioned he's a very smart guy. That would be a very dumb thing to do, in my opinion, to come out and say, I'm really loving not winning. It's an incredible environment for me to be a part of. I really miss this right here. I miss the losing. Like, I don't think that's what he would meant by the quote. It's a very strange quote to come out, especially after a loss. I think they lost the game that this quote came out to as well. So, yeah, very, very strange D'Lo quote.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm happy to not have to care about these things anymore.
Oh, that's not nice.
Have fun in Brooklyn, buddy.
Right.
Let's go ahead and move on to Jonas Valanciunas, who obviously has been linked to the Lakers all season. Dating, well, shit, even before the season. If you count the free agency rumors last summer, he plays against the Lakers here tonight. Let's see, Rashawn Holmes with a DNP CD.
Yeah, there's some weird stuff going on with him.
I don't understand what's like. Is he available?
Well, they paid him first, right? I think they paid Rashawn Holmes last summer. Yeah, it's been strange.
Like if he's available, the tires on him over Jonas. But anyway, 19 minutes. Jonas went 4 of 6 from the field, grabbed 7 rebounds. Man, my underdog parlay tonight was Anthony Davis, 44.5 points, rebounds, and assists. He hit that.
Mm-hmm.
Austin, I think either 7 or 8.5 assists. He hit that. Jonas needed to grab 8.5 rebounds in this one. He grabbed 7. Didn't grab a rebound in like the whole first half too. Like all of them were in the second half. I was like going nuts. It's like this guy, we're getting him for rebounding. Can this guy rebound? You're auditioning, man. Like if you're trying to convince the Lakers that you want to be a Laker, you should go out and grab 40 rebounds. That's why I made the bet that I did.
Your one and only chance. Do it.
By the way, if you guys are interested in joining me on such plays and joining those festivities, head on over to underdog.com/Lakers Lounge, where you'll get a 50% deposit match there on the site and in the app. But anyway, what did you think of what you saw from Jonas Valanciunas?
Looks like the player that I've been kind of saying Jonas Valanciunas is.
It'd be funny if he was just like breaking dudes off from the perimeter. completely different player.
Yeah,
bro, it's like, whoa, where did that come from?
Yeah, it's
he
cool
moved on the screen.
Yeah, it's cool to watch everyone else kind of come to the conclusion I've been at, or they're going, wait, hold on, this is Jonas Valanciunas. This is the guy that LeBron was taking pay cuts for. Guy that Jackson Hayes thoroughly outplayed tonight, by the way. I thought Jackson Hayes did a good job boxing him out, kind of taking away whatever he wanted to do in the post. Jonas did take one jump shot and made it, but that's kind of the volume of jump shots you're going to get from Jonas Valanciunas. But yeah, no. Did you?
Oh no, it was a corner.
It was the worst shot in basketball. It's like the long two. It's just from your 7-3 guy. It's like it's not really the shot I want. But Jonas actually hits that at a pretty good rate. But again, he takes so low that I think it just is meaningless.
Doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter at all.
He almost airballed a mid-range jumper.
Right. Yeah. But in seriousness, this is kind of why I would stay away. I understand the cost is low. It's just a guy like that in basketball that matters. And the Lakers played some semblance of basketball that matters tonight. He could not run the floor. He could not contain any ball screen coverages at all. The Lakers had him consistently on ball screens, either attacking him directly as well. And he's a post presence, but again, he's just not a good enough passer out of it to where, it's not impactful. So, Jonas Valanciunas' debut, against his hopeful team. Audition, excuse me.
I made that same mistake when I was typing this out.
Right. His audition against his hopeful team did not go well. And look, this is maybe Rob's one time watching it, so I maybe don't have to worry anymore that Jonas will be a Laker. So hope people saw kind of what I saw.
Rob's in his office like, oh, this is the guy they wanted? Because remember the list? It was like Klay Thompson and James Harden
and Jonas Valanciunas.
No, wasn't there one more guy? I think.
Well, there was DeRozan was also mentioned.
Okay, yes, but still.
like 3 guys who average 25, and it's Jonas Valanciunas. Just it's like 3 star on-ball
It's like,
guards.
are you sure you're gonna take a pay cut for that guy? Honestly,
Yeah.
LeBron, save your money.
I never bought that, by the way. It felt like one of those games where you throw 4 things and one of them is way off just to throw the people off. I forgot what game
Yeah.
that, but like 3
Oh,
truths and
yeah, the 3 truths and a lie.
yeah, it's like Harden, Clay, DeMar,
The
Jonas.
first day of class every year, like, first semester,
Yes,
like, in college,
opening
this is
game,
the
yeah.
first day of school every year.
Social
It's
game.
like, "All right, everybody tell us something about yourself." Well, what my go-to truth that I always included was that I met Michael Jordan, and nobody ever believed that one.
I don't even remember, man. It's been so long. But yeah, I think that's what that was. Throwing Jonas in there, like we can see you, like like we could, we see the name. Like it's just there's no way that guy got paid by Washington this summer. Like what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think Washington is like when the Lake Washington signs him and they're like, "Don't worry, we'll get something from the Lakers."
Right.
And they're like calling the Lakers, "No? No? We signed him to a 3-year contract. We don't want him here."
You know, it was bad when the cost was like his cost is 2 seconds. Everyone's like, no.
Yeah.
That's when you knew. Like, yeah, it's bad.
I reported that the Lakers were like, "We'll give up a second for him."
Yeah.
And that's like the back and forth. It was not even a back and forth, really. It was like, "Yeah, we want 2." No, he's just like, "No, absolutely not." And Jonas isn't a Laker.
No.
Yeah, I'm with you, honestly. Like, my thing with Jonas has always been he would play a very narrow role. That's why, like, if the Lakers were going to go out and get him, it would be for, like, I think now they have the space under the second cap to do this. I'd have to look again. But if it was like Christian Wood, Jalen Hood-Schifino, and Gabe Vincent, no, not Gabe, Christian Wood, Jalen Hood-Schifino, and Jackson Hayes for Jonas. I think I would, and a second for Jonas. I think I would do that because none of those guys figure into the future of the Lakers. Like, yes, you're right that Jackson outplayed Jonas tonight. You're right to point that out, but I still think Jonas's skill set of just being huge is something that the Lakers need. And yeah, like it's just it. If it's only a second, I think eventually this happens, but we'll see. What I will say though is I'm not interested in trading Gabe Vincent for Jonas because the Lakers bench unit offense is already bad enough. And if you remove even like the little bit of spice that Gabe brings to that unit there, it's not a coincidence that they traded D'Angelo Russell, who, like, everything that we said earlier in the show notwithstanding, that guy had the second unit's offense humming at a good level. And they missed that. Like they really, really do. If you trade Gabe for Jonas and you give up even like that aspect of it, I think you're in big trouble with that second.
Yeah, I wouldn't give up Gabe. I understand what Jonas brings. He's a regular season floor raiser, right? It's supposed to give AD a partner in crime and kind of the 2 big lineups, and I think he's a better 2 big partner than Jackson Hayes. I think Jackson's like rim pressure and kind of lob gravity. I kind of like that a little bit more in those second units than Jonas being a plotting center that helps against the big centers like Zubac and all those guys.
Couldn't you get what Hayes brings in Koloko?
Yeah, but I guess we're refusing to go over the 50 game mark for Koloko, so he's been kind of capped. Yeah, which it's every game Mike Trudell comes out and tells everyone the Lakers are too cheap to pay Koloko into a regular roster, and just so they want to limit him into his 50 game cap. But yeah, it seems like they're going to kind of extend that. But No, I get the Jonas thing. I think he's a little overrated in the size department of what that brings to a
He's definitely
team.
that big.
He is that big. It's just I think it's in its like functionality
Rashawn
of
Holmes is making 12 million American dollars. He got a DMP CD tonight.
Yeah, Jonas is at like 10, right? I think Jonas is at like 10.5. I think that's what he got signed for this summer. So I don't get why the Wizards are in a rush either to give that up for the package you just named and 1 second rounder. I don't see what they get out of it either. They just signed Jonas. Not like Jonas is going to be a different player next year. They can kind of wait the market and see what he'll be. I don't see the rush for either of these teams to kind of do that this year at all.
So I'm looking at it. Says, yeah, like according to Spotrac, it can't happen for whatever reason. So we'll see. Yeah, it certainly wasn't the kind of game that like it needed to be for us to have a more interesting conversation here, right? Like it's just he is, like you said, Raj, the guy that we thought he was, and he if he was making like half as much money as he is, I'd be way more interested, you know. But at $9 million, it is just enough to make that acquisition complicated. And unless you're getting like, if you're sending, and then on top of it too, by the way, Jonas has like a 3-year contract. Now the third year of that is not guaranteed, but it is still like, man, I don't love it. I don't. It's a kind of it'd be a luxury type ad, or it would be like, you know, I think Jovan, I don't know if he used this exact phrasing, but I guess he was reporting or said that the Lakers, like he expects the Lakers to do something along the lines of like, you know, something closer to kind of half measures, more so than moving first round draft capital, as we've been talking about a ton here. This would be kind of the definition of a half measure. It like kind of addresses something, but it doesn't to the extent that the Lakers need it addressed.
And like, what in the point? Like, what's the point of a half measure? Like, I wouldn't understand that approach at all. Like, getting Jonas Valanciunas doesn't get you above any bar that matters. And yeah, it would be a half measure. You wouldn't have to give up first round draft equity, but you wouldn't do anything. You wouldn't get past any of the teams that matter. You don't play better against the good teams. Jonas is unplayable against teams like OKC, you know, all the teams at the top of the West. He wouldn't be able to play against Boston because they would space the hell out of him and attack him on every drive. I hope they don't do a half measure, but that is what was reported today, which upset a lot of people.
Yeah. I mean, they could have been upset way earlier if they just listened to the show. By the way, somebody pointed it out up here. Let's see, where is it? It's not in there. Yeah, Bashir. Muggle's reference on the points of the show is good. Do you know what the reference is there?
Yes, so I was into Harry Potter as a kid, so I know that
Aren't you
Muggles
still
is
a kid? You're still a kid. What are you talking as a kid?
Yeah, but I mean, you know, as a young kid, when I was growing up, Harry Potter was definitely a strong force. So yes, I know that is a Harry Potter reference for sure.
Did you read all the books? Like, how far into the series did you get?
So I read up to Half-Blood.
I could see you reading like up to like book 5 and then like seeing a basketball game and you're like, we're good.
That's crazy. That's kind of how it works. So I like read up to Half-Blood Prince and then I skipped to the last book and just read the ending because they said the ending of the book was better than the movie. And it's a little more interesting for sure. But yeah, but I love the movies, you know, at least as a kid, those are, you know, those are great. But yeah, I understood that reference. So I got that one.
There you go. They're remaking. No, not remaking, but they're making it a HBO show.
Why? Like what?
Which I always thought that it should have been in the first place because the books have so much like great detail to them.
Also, they're like doing spin-offs kind of thing, like Draco gets his
own.
Like
they're going back to day one, and they're doing like each television season is going to be a book. and it'll be 7 seasons long, and they'll do however many episodes that is required to tell the story of each individual book.
Oh, I see. But they're all new actors, right? It's not like
all that. Like they were saying that there might be some, or at one point there was some kind of rumors that maybe you get some crossovers there, but I think they're just gonna scrap it all. My thing is, like, this is probably a controversial opinion. I would actually miss, like, the movie score a lot more than I would miss any of the actors.
What do you mean score? Movie score?
The it's like Gryffindor 1. No, like the music, like that plays
Oh,
that, like,
is that what score mean? A movie score means
na.
music? Movie
Yeah,
score
like,
means like
yeah,
music?
movie scores. Like, actually, there's a ton of great playlists that if you just go on Spotify, like, this is what I use for writing. You go on Spotify and you just hit, like, movie scores, and they'll have these great
Never
playlists
heard.
that have all of, like, the famous music from all of these
Oh,
movies.
right.
Now, you've seen 3 of those movies, so maybe it wouldn't hit as well for you, but but but
Yeah,
yeah.
I've seen all the Harry Potters, but they have the
Yeah.
same music, I guess.
Uh-huh.
Da-na-na-na-na-na.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very
All right. Let's go ahead and let's see. Do we have anything else left? Oh, shoot. Let's talk really quickly about the Suns, and then we will get to super comments. Did you see the trade? What did you think about the trade? Let me just give the details really quick.
yeah.
The Suns are sending their 2031 pick to Utah and getting back 3 low, like, without getting into the weeds of where the picks are and stuff like that, 3 much less valuable first rounders in return. The thinking here is that they are going to use those additional first rounders that they got as they split, to do the Horcrux thing here. They split one soul into 3. They have 4
Yeah.
to go to catch up to Tom Riddle, but they split the one
That's who
first
Jimmy
rounder.
Butler is. He's
He's
he's Tom
Voldemort.
Riddle.
In Miami, he's for sure Voldemort. But the thinking here is that they're going to use the first rounder to pay a team to take Bradley Beal. They'll use a first rounder to get Jimmy Butler out of Miami. And then, maybe have another first rounder left over to either use one day in the draft or to use elsewhere on the roster, or if necessary in this trade. It's very much a step in the direction that they have found themselves sprinting in, which is all in.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the trade?
So Matt HBO continues to do moves that I didn't know were, like, I guess, legal or you could do or were part of the CBA, which, again, credit to them. He is running steadfast into, I'm throwing everything into this. And I think there is a world here where HBO says, all right, I have nothing left. I'm getting out of the NBA business, and I'm sending this off,
You'd have to
selling
pay
this.
capital gains on the Phoenix Suns.
I don't think he cares. Money is no object for them, how they're moving. But no, I commend them for being super aggressive. It's a strange deal. Danny Ainge gets to, again, just kick this can farther down the road of whatever Utah's doing. So they're going to continue to build, give up 3 first-round picks for a very, very valuable 2031, I guess, Phoenix pick. I wonder if the Lakers woke up and went, we can, like, is that a thing we can ask for, around the league now?
Yeah.
Multiple first round picks. But it's interesting. And yeah, I think it is for Jimmy Butler. Again, I disagree with a lot of the direction the Suns go to. I don't disagree with, I guess, the way they go about it. It's just, again, at the Beal trade, I didn't like it at the time. I'm not for putting all these whole cruxes in to go get Jimmy Butler. I think there's way better stars or fits or ways to build a basketball team than just go get the mid-range guy that can score 25. They're just going to trade one of those guys for another. Now Butler's better than Beal at that, but still, I think it doesn't solve a lot of their issues. But no, I credit to them. They're going to get this done by hell or high water. They're going to go get Jimmy Butler, which is kind of how the NBA works. Did you see Jimmy Butler's shoes today? He's wearing these Phoenix Suns
shoes.
What is he doing? It's just the most insane walk off a team while they get blown out by the Trailblazers. It's perfect.
So Yeah, I think two things can be true here at the same time. I disagree with the types of moves that Phoenix thinks it needs to make in order to
Yeah.
remain all in, but I fully 100 zillion % respect the fact that they are just like, we only get Kevin Durant and Devin Booker in our organization once. We're
Mhm.
only going to have this opportunity once. Maybe Matt Ishbia is like, I'm only
I got
I have
one
a
decade
3-year
here.
plan and then I'm selling this team anyway.
Yeah.
Like, sure, whatever it is. But I don't know. Harrison and I just talked in yesterday's episode about, and you and I have talked about how, like, it doesn't really feel like the Lakers are accomplishing anything. It doesn't really feel like the Golden State Warriors are accomplishing anything. And it's because both organizations are both like, half measures. It's we want to compete now, but not if the cost is mortgaging the future. And my thing there is that, like, you can always, like, we've just seen it. Like, the Lakers have actually been able to compile a decent draft cash here moving forward, coming off of the Russell Westbrook debacle. You can always um reset that your asset situation. You don't always have LeBron James. You don't always have Anthony Davis, and you certainly don't always have those guys at the same time. And that's where I'm like, I would much rather. And it's crazy. Like, Harrison always laughs at me whenever this happens. It's crazy to me when it's always weird to me when I have an opinion that I think is just like so rudimentary,
Mhm.
so straightforward. And yet it seems like I'm in the minority on it, because I'm like, do y'all understand what a rebuild entails? Do you understand, like, what it looks like if they quote unquote blow it up? Like, people keep on saying, "Oh, just blow it up, just blow it up, get assets now, get assets now." Okay, fine, but you're entrusting a rebuild without LeBron James and without Anthony Davis in the organization to Rob Pelinka? That's what you guys are signing up for as the alternative to, hey, maybe use a couple of your, like, middling first round picks to go out and get a DeJounte Murray, or to go out and get a Miles Turner, or whatever it would be. Like actually, fully commit to competing. And that's where, like, I find myself watching what's going on in Phoenix. And now look, it might be a few years from now they don't win anything this year after they go out and get Jimmy Butler, and they don't have anything to show for going all in the way that they have gone in. But and then like a couple of years on the road, you're looking at their pick and their asset situation, and you're like, "Woof,
Yeah.
wow, this sucks." But still, I would say, like, hey, at least we tried. At least, like, that one stretch where we had those guys in our organization, we actually tried to go out and do it. And I'd respect that a hell of a lot more than whatever's going on in in LA or in San Francisco.
Yeah, Matt Ishbia and his brother, I think they both run the team together. I feel like they have a whiteboard that just has no regrets. And you could tell that's the way they are moving forward. It's like we have Devin Booker and they understand. And I think this is what a lot of teams say. And Zach Lowe used to say this when he had his podcast. The kind of get out of jail card is you get to go all in. And if it doesn't work, then you then go trade the star to go get the picks back, right? It's
Right.
okay, this didn't work. We can go and sell Gobert for picks, Donovan Mitchell for picks, whatever it is. Cleveland can do that with Donovan Mitchell again if they want to, if this doesn't work out with how they've kind of gone in and paid guys. And I see Phoenix doing the same thing. Look, if it doesn't work, KD will request a trade. And at 36 years old, he's still going to command whatever first round equity to go get to whatever team he wants to go. If we have to, I don't think they want to trade Devin Booker. I think that's their franchise guy, but Devin Booker wants out, that we can go do that as well. But right now, I do not care what's going on in 2031. I want to go all in for this season, and I commend it. I think that's the way I think the Lakers should be moving as well. Again, you don't have to be this I guess crazy or give up this much capital in the future, but the Lakers already limited the amount of picks they can trade. The CBA does that for you. You have 2 first round picks you can move, in a trade.
Yeah.
And so
You're
hopefully
protected by the
that's
CBA
what I'm saying.
anyway.
You're protected anyway, and I think most Laker fans would accept a move, any move that kind of happens. Again, the Russell Westbrook thing, I think still is having kind of effects even today. But I think most Laker fans, you trade those two for whatever player, pick your player, Levine, Ingram, whatever it is. And I'm not proposing they go get Levine or something like that. But I think those are moves that you should look at and okay, how do we increase our margin for error? You went and got DFS, great. But obviously another move is going to be needed. It's just you look at Phoenix and like, yeah, we're going all in. The Warriors are kind of in this place as well. They're like, we're gonna sit on the fence. Even their stars are agreeing with this notion
Which I
of
find insane.
Staying on the bench, and Draymond is talking about we can't mortgage the future. Draymond, you're 33 years old. What are you talking about? But yeah, it's insane to kind of hear their stars even speak.
If they get ownership stake, we'll know what's up.
I doubt that they're getting ownership stake.
If they get like a couple percentage points, because I think eventually Dirk got some percentage points from Cuban. So like if like Steph and Draymond get some percentage points just for like not applying pressure to Kirk Lacob, right? The gym bus of that organization. Right. Then I could see what was up there. All right, let's quickly get to some of these super comments and then end our evening, which always starts with this. All right, Brandon Olmang writes, your ideal trade deadline trade and your top 8 players in the rotation for the playoffs. Thoughts on a Brogdon, Jonas, and Gillespie, maybe? For filler for Rui, Gabe, Jalen Hood-Schifino, and 2 second-round picks. Wow, we didn't see Malcolm Brogdon in this. Is he hurt?
Yeah, he was hurt. He was in street clothes tonight, as he usually
has that
is. Yeah.
Although I do think you're probably seeing some draft trade equity stuff going on there, making sure he remains healthy because of that track record that you're talking about.
Yeah.
But anyway, like that, like the face that you're making right there, the point that you're getting ready to make is that like if you have to protect a player from getting on a basketball court, that's kind of saying it quite out loud, right? Like
what am I trading for?
Is answering a lot of like my I can't play my player because he might get hurt t-shirt is answering a lot of questions.
Right.
Anyway, so all right, my ideal trade deadline. Are we talking realistic here? Because ideal and realistic are 2 very different things. My ideal realistic trade deadline would be I would call up New Orleans about DeJounte Murray, and I would offer a first and Dalton and whatever contracts that you need to get that you need to move for DeJounte Murray, and then move Austin to like a 6-man role and see how that looks.
I would call the same team, but I would just ask for a different player.
You could talk about Brandon Ingram. Go for it.
I would ask for Brandon Ingram for sure. If I'm gonna trade with New Orleans, I want to get the better player. So I think that package that he has down there, I think if you can add like I guess Vando to it, it should get you to the Ingram money, I believe. And Ingram would probably cost you the same or even maybe less first round equity. I don't know. Maybe a first round pick would have to go out the door, I would assume. So Griffin can sell that to his fan base. But that's what I would go with. That would be my ideal. Is that realistic? I have no idea. 3 weeks out, there's been no noise on Brandon Ingram from any reporting, yours or anyone that I've heard. Brogdon, Jonas, you know how I feel about Jonas already. And then Brogdon, like I can't, if that trade goes, that would be absolutely, you'd be praying for health there. And you might as well go get like a Robert Williams if you're going to just test the health of how good your medical team is. Like go get Rob Williams then out of Portland rather than going for Brogdon again in Washington.
I do think though that like this is a conversation for later, like after the season. But one thing that it is becoming pretty clear is the Lakers' reticence to trade for anybody who has any kind of an injury history really limits their options, right? And I get it because those guys don't have much of a track record of turning things around when they get to the Lakers. But to me, if I were in charge, I would push hard to go out and hire the kind of medical staff that could actually turn some of these careers around and invest in that, because I think that's kind of the market inefficiency. Maybe you get lucky the 1 year, like the Warriors got lucky the one Otto Porter year. That was literally it. He was never healthy again after that year, and it led to a championship. And like, you know, if you get lucky there often enough, it makes you more willing to push some of those chips into the middle of the table on those kinds of guys who, like, yeah, are talented, but also come with those concerns. I wouldn't make those bets now. I wouldn't gamble that way now with a medical team that we saw a LinkedIn post for before the season. But, like, you know, if you do go out and you do invest in that infrastructure, that organizational infrastructure, that is something that you could do. That's exactly what the Dodgers have done. Like, I know that you guys are probably really sick of me talking about the Dodgers, but one of the ways that the Dodgers have been able to supplement their organization without mortgaging the future is to invest like crazy in their medical staffs, and then go out and get guys with some of those iffy track records. And if they hit, cool. If not, well, all right. We'll have now the thing that Dodgers have been able to do is have insane depth because they don't have a salary cap and they don't live in apron world. So, like, it isn't apples to apples. But my point here more is that, like, if you can't in good measure, you can't in good confidence make any of these gambles with the kind of medical staff that the Lakers have in place. And I think that really limits what the Lakers are able to do in you know, these transaction windows.
Shout out Rui, who understands 100% his place in all this and made sure to get the photo op with who's the Dodger name?
Roki Sasaki.
Yes. Yeah. Rui got the little LA sign up with him right away.
He knows his way to stay in the organization. They love him for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Justin Tyndall writes, I find Bus and Pelinka pathetic. As soon as LeBron says the roster ain't good enough, shockingly, a report comes out a day or two later that there are no major changes. I mean, in fairness, I've been reporting this forever. Like, I don't think they're responding to LeBron's soundbite there. But like, if anything, like, the more Pelinka thing would have been to, like, leak that the Lakers have interest in Brandon Ingram.
Right. Yeah. Zach LaVine,
or that the Lakers, like, checked in on Zach LaVine, or they checked in on Brandon Ingram or something like that. But no, I mean, like the noise has been pretty consistent on this front, and I've been reporting this for like weeks now. I saw Wiki report this over the last week or so, and then Jovan had his piece today on this subject. Like, most people now, look, the caveat and the giant bright lights disclaimer here is that a lot of the conversations that at least I'm not going to speak for. Well, I will use, like, kind of the phrasing that people are using, right? Where you'll hear reporters say, like, according to people around the league, the expectation is blank, right? And the disclaimer here, the big caveat is that, like, that's the outward expectation of the Lakers. Internally, those conversations are very different, but for what it's worth, I've heard that it isn't all that different. That, like, there just isn't anybody on the market right now that the Lakers are comfortable with committing to financially in like in the case of, like, a Brandon Ingram moving forward, or that they are, like, confident or comfortable moving first round draft capital for, that is actually attainable. And that's where things kind of stand. Now, look, 3 weeks, a ton can change.
Yeah, right. And I thought that was the, I guess, strongest LeBron has come out against the roster in a while. I mean, even I think last year he never really had a quote quite like that, where he went basically straight into the roster and complaining about the margin for error that his team has versus again, a Clipper team that's been without their best player for the whole year, basically, as well. So I thought that was interesting. But yeah, I think that was to put a battery in whoever's back is making these decisions. So we'll see if that changes anything with, like you said, three weeks left until the deadline.
Final one here from Brandon Omeng. What happens when Vando comes back with Rui and Dorian Finney-Smith's minutes? You'll see a lot more lineups with those, combinations of those 2 or 3 guys out there together. But yeah, I don't think that's something that we have to worry about all that much until we actually see Jared Vanderbilt on a basketball court.
That's a problem I want to have. Like, give me like that. That's a good problem to have. Let me figure out what to do with the minutes once Vando is healthy and is fully reintegrated. But until then, yeah, I'm not going to worry about whose minutes he's stealing until he's at least on the floor, which hopefully is soon. Like, could be this next week. It keeps getting pushed to the next week, which it's like
it was real progress. And then it was like, well, actually, that was like the old kind of progress. But this time it's the real progress. And then it's like,
right.
Like we were supposed to like hear something tonight. Right. Because whatever.
It does feel like his fits are getting less and less loud, which is kind of getting me excited because it's like I'm noticing him less and less on the bench. So hopefully there's like a causation.
Isn't that the opposite?
No, his fits are louder when he's not playing. Like it's this.
But I feel like you would.
You think he would like
he would get louder as he's getting ready to play. Like he's like, guys, look at me. I'm still here. Remember me? Here we go. Let's get ready. Whereas like the more he wants to fade into the background, it's like, guys, don't remember me. I'm not here. Don't even think about it. Or like he's wearing like less loud outfits so that like the front office doesn't see him there and is less likely to trade him. Like don't think about it. I'm not here. Don't even worry about me.
Get back soon, Vando. Get back soon.
Me too. I do. Actually, he seems like a good guy.
Yeah,
I'm rooting for him. He's a fun player to watch. Yeah, the Lakers, frankly, need him quite a bit. Get healthy, and then, very, very importantly, stay healthy.
Right
on the other half of it.
I only have one beef with Vando is that he came to a Sparks game and was very uninterested in the basketball. It's like we're courtside, Vando. We could see you. Like you're very public.
Well, in fairness, he's used to being courtside for a lot of basketball.
That's true. Yes, that doesn't change. It's in the same arena. You're right.
Oh, my seat
same location
available. How about that?
Damn it.
All right, everybody. That is going to do it here for this episode of the Lakers Lounge podcast. Thank you, everybody. I am not going to address this comment here. We're just moving on. Like I said something dumb, and I had something dumb to say back. But until let's see, tomorrow I will be doing a mailbag pod. So if you guys have any questions, leave them in the form of a 5-star review on iTunes to guarantee that they will get on here. Or leave them on the Discord as well. That's a fun place to interact with people there. And then obviously, as if you guys are watching live in tomorrow's show, leave your comments and I'll try to get to as many of them as I possibly can. So until then, and until the next time you guys hear from me, I'm Anthony Irwin. That was Raj Chapalu. This has been the Lakers Lounge. Have a great rest of your evening. Make somebody else's, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Bye, everyone.